But you obviously think about it because you say that when you see a truck, it kind of comes back to you. When you see like a big group of guys, it kind of comes back to you. So when you do that, when you see a truck or a group of guys, how do you handle that situation? Do you take off the other way? Do you
I always go the opposite way. Even though, like, if it's my friends, it's okay, but if it's just, guys looking, it's like a big deal to me now.
Right.
So I go the other way.
So when you go to your friend's house who lives 3 blocks away, are you going by yourself or do you go with someone else?
I usually go by myself in the daytime.
In the daytime. Yeah. So you don't go at night at all. And I think what's so scary about this is because it did happen in your backyard, and you said it's an older community, so you felt safe.
Saved, now, gosh, you can't even, you can't even let your kids out nowadays. I mean, and then what really irks me, she's 14, and these are not even teenagers. These are 30-year-old men. That's what's sick.
That's very sick.
These are in their 30s. They ought to know better. They know better.
They know better.
They know better. Come on, a 30-year-old man picking on a 14-year-old? They really have to be desperate.
Yeah. There are some of those people out there. But I remember when I was younger, I had a best friend who lived exactly 7 houses down. And it would be nighttime, and we were going to go to one another's house to spend the night. And we would walk, and there'd be, no problem. My parents had no problem. They'd say, okay, call when you get there, or whatever. But there was not this huge ordeal about getting kidnapped. And so it brings up just so many issues, that it's basically in your backyard, and that there's nowhere really that you can feel safe. So for prevention purposes, you say you go somewhere in a crowd. And tell me a little bit more about karate. How long have you been doing it?
I've been taking it 4 years.
4 years.
Yes.
And that was the major contributor to basically you protecting yourself.
Yes.
So do you recommend that for other kids? What do you recommend that other people do in order to protect themselves?
Well, at least know some kind of self-defense, don't think like nothing can happen to you, because I thought that, and I was proved wrong.
Right.
Yeah, so it's just, you don't have to know karate. You at least know some kind of defense, to fight back or something.
Especially kids, because kids have, a weight disadvantage and a strength disadvantage, I mean, it could be just one person trying to attack them, but yet if you know some kind of, preventative, you're going to be that much more well-equipped. And also, I mean, you were only 14, so if you think that they're attacking a 14-year-old girl, they could really be attacking anybody out there. Mm-hmm. So are you more protective of her now?
Very. I mean, and it's hard for me because I got to remember, if I get too overprotective, I'm going to draw her more away.
Right.
So it's like I got to stay out of her space but I'm constantly, if she leaves, I'm constantly on that phone.
And what do you think about that?
It's irritating, but I don't blame her, but it's still irritating. It's like, oh, my phone rings. Oh, I already know who it is.
So if she doesn't answer it, what would go through your mind?
Oh my goodness. One time she didn't answer it, and I mean, I went down her friend's house. I mean, I went over there because I was literally, because she didn't answer it, and she was on her way to her friend's house. Right. The thing was, she had it in her purse, and there was a diesel going by, so she didn't hear it ringing.
Right.
And so I was thinking, oh my God, wonder what happened. Who came across, Your
mind automatically goes to all that.
Just to that one incident, because the graduate, our house where it's at, it's a block away, but to get to her friend's house, she has to not pass the graduate, but go on that other corner of it.
Right.
So, traffic, and what's so sad is that traffic goes by, somebody, that's a heavy street. No, I mean, come on, you see 2 guys fighting with a little girl.
Well, and that's just it goes back to people just don't want to get involved. And how did that make you feel, Lisa, that you knew people were going by and yet you're sitting there,
I was screaming, screaming help, or, raising my hands in the air, and then people just drive by oh, look at that little girl. They're just driving, and it's like...
It's funny now that the way you say it, but it wasn't then.
It's like, Wow.
So did that, bring up any anger towards people not wanting to help, or did you feel bad for them, or how did that make you feel about?
It's just, I understand how they wouldn't want to get involved, but at least, stop to make them go away. I mean, like how the old lady did. She just had to speak, and they went away. At least, honk or do something.
Right. So after the old lady came, did she leave right away after they?
No, she stayed there, actually, to watch me run across the street and run home. But you see what they did, they went back all the way around the corner to see if that old lady left. And
the guy in the truck?
Yeah. All of them, they were in the truck. And they went all the way around the corner to see if I was still there and that old lady was still there. And so I was on the corner of my block going home. And they were like across the street, and they were yelling, this is it, this isn't it, I'm gonna come back for you. And the old lady—
They were saying that to you?
Yeah. And the old lady was like, I called the police already, you better leave. And she was yelling that out to them. And so they left, and I ran home.
So thank goodness that lady was there too. Because also, I mean, if you have 4 guys attacking you and there's only one of you, sooner or later,
they would end up kidding.
There's no way but them. I mean, because you're smaller, your strength is going to run out because, I mean, there's 4 of them, so who knows what would happen.
I was having a hard time with 2 guys. I can't go with 4. If that lady wasn't there, then I already knew I would be in the truck.
Right, and that's scary.
Even if I knew karate or not, because it was 4 guys.
So how long was she gone from home at the graduate doing
from
this?
the times? About 2.5 hours, that's all.
2.5 hours.
2.5 hours.
So was there a point, since it started getting dark, was there a point when you would start wondering or worrying?
Oh no, I was out looking for her. And it was so funny because when I came in, 20 minutes later, she came running in. Or 10 minutes, somewhere around there. It wasn't long. And it was like, because I kept going to, because from the corner of my house to where I live is only 4 houses down. So I kept going in and out. I walked to one corner, and because I didn't know, I thought she was in the neighborhood. I didn't know she went down to the garage. I thought about it, but I wasn't really too sure. And I said, nah, so I walked all the way to the other end, and she, I didn't see her. And if I would have stayed out a little bit more, I would have caught it.
Right. So you didn't know she was going to the graduate?
I knew she was going around the area.
Right.
See, but I didn't know because she said, I'm going to go to the graduate. And then she goes, no, I'm just going to go around here, around the neighborhood. So I was figuring, the blocks, the homes. And I thought maybe the graduate. Then I said, nah, I should have went there. I should have went there. Intuition. Yeah.
A woman's intuition.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can't look back and say, you should have gone, because I don't know. That's definitely scary.
It's a scary thing because she's my only girl. I have 3. Oh, then her brothers had came over, and all my sons.
That night?
Yes, all of them, and they're all in their 20s. She's my
baby.
So she has like brothers, and I mean, they went
off.
Oh God, the oldest, he's 28. And he was practically in tears, and he goes, I should have been here. I mean, and it was like, when she would leave, if she leaves, they're constantly calling her. They're constantly calling her.
So unpopular in my family.
Everyone wants to keep tabs on you. Well, have you ever thought that maybe instead of your mom calling you so much, you could just call your mom and say, hey, this is where I am on the way to my friend's house. So you don't feel like she's maybe annoying you so much.
That's what I do.
So, oh, you do? You call her too?
I call her and say, I'm at my friend's house. I'm trying to give her, don't call me.
No more.
Yeah, so she's starting to do that a lot now. Says like, I'm here, or she'll call me, you know what, me and Karen, we're going to go down to the mall, or we're going to go, their mom's going to, drop us off, and I say, how you getting home? She goes, the mom's going to pick us up, because I don't want her walking.
Right. Does the mall worry you about, like,
no,
her
because
going to the mall?
The mall's inside. She doesn't take off, and all the friends, I mean, somebody's got to see something if somebody's kidnapping something in the mall.
Security in the mall. And usually when I go to the mall, I don't just go by myself or just with one friend. I go with like a whole big group because we all like to shop.